All right, special riding home recruiting edition. The Georgia staff is still on the road recruiting, seeing some top commitments, top targets over the last several weeks, which means I was out at high school seeing Georgia targets and commitments, trying to get the latest before a massive month of June for the Georgia staff. Obviously, they're going to be hosting official visitors throughout the month of June, so it's time to go see those kids right before the the semester ends and summer starts. So I'm just going to go talk about where I was last night and then move backwards, because I did see a number of different schools. But last night, Friday night, I was at Milton High School. Milton played Cass. Cass is home to 3-star wide receiver Saquon White. Georgia offensive coordinator Mike Bobo was in attendance. He has a very busy schedule next week. He's seeing a lot of different quarterbacks across the country. For the latest on that, what days he's going to be seeing targets, maybe Dylan Raiola, maybe Ryan Puglisi. Make sure you head over to DAWGS, because I'm writing a big story on that. Probably want to get that out Sunday or Monday. But I saw Saquon White play, had a couple nice catches, played some defense, physical tackler. I like him a lot. I think he's a really good high school receiver. Not sure he's a game changer type at a place like Georgia, but he's a really good player, and I like what I saw from him. A little on the smaller side, but he is fast. He's electric. He's got great ball skills, body control. There's a lot to like about his game. Now, Milton, I think, could push for the 7A title this year. They've got a lot of guys in the 25 class. No one with a real Georgia offer. They've got a receiver committed to Texas A&M. They've got a tight end in the 25 class who's probably going to play in the Big Ten, I think, or maybe Notre Dame. They've got a quarterback that I really like, Luke Nickel. He's got an offer from Penn State, and a bunch of ACC programs. Milton is legit. So I did see Saquon White, and I thought he was good. The day before that, Thursday, I was at Walton High School to check on Daniel Calhoun, a massive 6'5", 350-pound offensive lineman. Georgia offensive line coach Stacy Searles was there watching Daniel as well. There's a big story right now over on Dog Post. He's breaking down what he likes about Georgia, what he likes about Stacy Searles, and to break that down, he likes the intensity at practice. He told me the last time he was in Athens was for a spring practice, loved how the offensive line worked, loved just the way they competed and the way they got after it at practice. He said it was the most intense college practice he's seen, and he's been on quite a few visits. He'll be in Athens the first weekend of June for his official visit. Then he goes to Alabama, then he goes to Tennessee, and then he goes to Texas. And he told me that he would like to try to fit in a 5th official visit midweek in June. Hasn't figured out what school is going to get it. I think it's down to Clemson, Ohio State, and I think he might have said Miami. But at the end of the day, I think this is going to be a Georgia-Alabama battle. I think Georgia sits in a really good spot for him. This is, I think, it's probably the second Georgia offensive line coach that's recruiting him. It was Matt Luke, and now it's Stacy Searles. And he likes Stacy Searles, said he's a real, genuine guy, knows he can be developed by Stacy Searles, and that's why, he's looking at Georgia. He said that's one of the biggest factors in his recruitment. Can I be developed? Can they get me to the league? He wants to own his own business too, so he's looking a little bit on the academic side. So he's definitely a name to know. And again, he'll be in Athens first week of June for his official visit. And I like where Georgia sits with him. Where was I? I was at Roswell. Not a ton of Georgia kids, though, at Roswell. Like the left tackle, he's committed to Notre Dame. They've got a big-time edge rusher that is blowing up on the recruiting trail right now. I think he's on Georgia's radar. If I try to pronounce his name, I will butcher it. And he's a great kid. I don't want to do that to him. But Roswell's got a team. That's going to be Walton's biggest matchup, I think. They're in the same region. That 6A region, I think, is going to come down to Walton and Roswell. Should be a big matchup. Alpharetta. I was at Alpharetta for a practice. Had to go see Ethan Barber. He's legit. He is a massive target for Todd Hartley in the 25 class. Now, they have Ellis Williams committed, who was at Charlton County. Now he's at Camden County. He's a 5-star. If he played for me, he'd be an outside linebacker, edge rusher type. He'd be getting after the quarterback, but I do think he's going to get at least a look at tight end at Georgia. But Ethan Barber's the real deal. LSU coaches were there. Ohio State was there at this practice that I was at. Todd Hartley was there the day before I was there. So big Georgia target, one of the best tight ends in the country. Again, just for the 25 class. And 24, Jaden Riddell pass catching tight end out of Missouri, I think is their top guy. He's going to be on campus for an official visit in June. Still, I think Todd's going to try to flip Landon Thomas back from Florida State, but I think he's locked in with the Seminoles right now. But Ethan Barber's very high on Georgia, always has been. I think Georgia sits in the best spot for him. And he's one of those playmaking tight ends, great in the passing game, but you can give him a jet sweep like they do with Brock Bowers here and there. Just get him the ball and make plays. He's thick, good lower body strength. I saw him play in person against Jefferson week 1 last season, and he caught a ball leaping up into the air, snagging it at its highest point, came down for a touchdown. Alpharetta won that game close. Sammy Brown took over that game, though, but it was in a losing effort. Ethan Barber's the real deal. So, you know, you got to go out and see these kids. If you want to make these videos, if you want to cover Georgia recruiting, you've got to go out and see these kids because you want to work as hard as the Georgia staff does. They're out there, you know, just grinding, recruiting, working, getting in front of these kids, watching them practice. I know Stacy Searles was down in Atlanta. He was checking out Juan Gaston Jr. I think is a 5-star prospect. He's down at Westlake. His dad was a crazy athlete, played ball at Georgia Tech, probably should have played football, but Juan Gaston is one of my favorite players in the 25 class. He is better than the ranking, all the rankings out there, all the outlets, the recruiting sites that you look at, they are not correct on Juan Gaston Jr. And I was told Stacy Searles loves him. Mason Short, the 25 offensive tackle out of Augusta, who's committed to Alabama. I'm told that that's still a guy that Georgia fans need to keep an eye on. And I know I'm talking about 25 a lot because it is the deepest offensive line class in the state of Georgia that I've seen in a long, long time. 24 is pretty weak. Daniel Calhoun, who I talked about for a couple minutes, he's the best one in the state. But in 25, you've got some big-time offensive tackles. Langston Hughes has a tackle committed to Alabama. I think Stacy Searles likes him. Mason Short is also committed to Alabama, but his parents are Georgia people from what I've gathered. So I don't think that one's over, and I think Georgia really likes him. But Juan Gaston's my favorite. Josh Petty out of Fellowship Christian Academy in Roswell. He was actually at the Milton Cast scrimmage last night. So, you know, kind of in enemy territory there, but he's got a great handshake. His hands are massive, and he will be a junior. Sure doesn't look like a junior. He's got a Georgia offer, and I'm told that Georgia staff really likes him. So they are going to knock it out of the park in the 25 class on the offensive line. They've got work to do in 24. All these guys are about NIL. Unfortunately, that's something that I was told. These kids aren't going to say it to reporters like myself, but NIL is such a big deal, especially to a lot of these offensive linemen, because they know that they have the opportunity to make a good bit of money. It's an important position. So Georgia's got to, figure that out. They're not, playing the NIL game as much as Miami is. I was told something crazy about Miami and what they're doing with NIL. That might come in another video or a story, but I still need to go out and see more guys, but it's tough. I got a 1-year-old that I'm with all day, every day. Occasionally I can drop him off with his grandmother so I can go hit schools. I need to see more guys, but, living where I am, I was able to see Alpharetta, Milton practice, and a Milton scrimmage, Walton, Roswell, and maybe I need to go see Buford next week. I was going to go see Parkview and Mike Matthews, but really don't think Mike Matthews is going to Georgia. I have felt that way for a while, but after speaking with sources close to Mike Matthews and people who have talked with him directly, I really do not see Mike Matthews at Georgia. I think he's leaning towards Tennessee, maybe or Alabama. I don't think Clemson is in the mix as much as I thought. He wants to go catch balls, make a big impact, and you're not going over 1,000 yards at Georgia anytime soon as a receiver. Brock may do it, but they're too balanced. They want to run the football. They've got too many weapons. It's just tough for one guy to go to over 1,000 yards. I think Mike Matthews is a guy who wants to light up the stat sheet. He wants to catch passes and score touchdowns, and it's going to be easier to do that at a place like Tennessee because they've shown that the receivers can come in and just kill it in the stat sheet, and they don't run the football as well as Georgia does, who can run it on just about anyone, and that's kind of their bread and butter, always has been, kind of always will be. But So I need to see some other schools. A lot of young talent. I love the 25 class in the state of Georgia. 24 is okay. Still need to go see Dwight Phillips down at Pebblebrook, and a few others probably in Cobb County as well. But just a few notes from the road, and we've got a lot more notes coming up on Dog Post for sure. So make sure you check it out. Thanks for watching this video as always. Stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I'll see you over on the website.